But you did say before the break,
Yeah, that's what I just want to go on to now, about technology.
you want to do the tech thing.
Yeah, so yes, where God's principles and technology, because one of the things that I hear from parents a lot, and myself, is we haven't been in a society before where we've had to deal with children and technology and phones and computers and laptops.
It's not really true. TVs were technology, and our generation had to deal with that.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess with the TV, I mean, back in my day, it was like 3 channels. That was it. Most of them were.
But
and then you turn it off and off you go.
Yeah, but I was the kind of kid that got up and watched the test pattern on the telly until the cartoons came on at 6 a.m. and drove my parents nuts. And to the point where my parents decided we're going to get rid of the telly and not getting one until he's 18. And that's what they did. Because I was so bad with it. And it taught me, I was pretty bad with the addiction of watching the telly, that's and it taught me also to go and do things outside and a lot of other things. So historically, most of us have had to deal with technology before. There's just new technology, and it's having more of an intrusion into day-to-day life than it ever has before.
Sure, they've got this thing that they take around everywhere, and it's just glued
you can't
to them
take a big telly, a cathode ray oscilloscope with you everywhere you go, but you can take a little mobile phone and still do the same thing with it.
And also what I find is, it could be stereotyping, but I'm seeing a lot of girls being attracted to like social media. Like look at me kind of addictions, and then the guys are kind of going off into their room and video games or interacting with people, porn, or interacting with their mates, but only through video games.
Correct.
So how would you suggest the parents, what do we do about the technology in the homes? Because especially if they've already had a phone.
Well, now you're asking me for my suggestions.
Okay, sorry, God's suggestions.
What's God's?
Not yours, God's.
What's God's principles? And I can make suggestions based on God's principles. But what are God's principles, firstly? Well, don't you, that if a person sits down a lot and just looks at a screen a lot, they have major developmental problems that occur for the rest of their life, pretty much. So straight away that giving them such devices is unloving. So why are you giving them? Now, a lot of parents then say, because it's safe, it helps them be safe. That's the parent's fear of the child's lack of safety, for a start. So, no, you're giving them because you're feeling unsafe, that they have so much autonomy, and you're trying to control their autonomy. Functionally, that's what's going on. So why do you even give them one in the first place? If it's going to be used as a tool, like a hammer, where I can call mum and dad occasionally, or call people I know occasionally and have a decent conversation with them, then it's a tool. If it's going to be used to feed their addictions, God's rule is take it away. Don't feed people's addictions. What are people's primary addictions? To be approved of, to be accepted, to be agreed with, to be... So this is social media. That's why it all exists. That's why these companies are the biggest companies in the world. And they control a lot of behaviour on the world. They even control what happens with regard to other events on the world to a large degree. Many of them even create events purposefully in order to get more adherents to their social media. Right? They're evil, many times, corporations that are running these places, right? Not loving. It's all about dominating the free will of as many people as possible so they can make money off of as many people as possible. And by giving your child a mobile phone, you're fundamentally accepting that will happen. You're promoting it, actually. Happening.
Enabling it.
Equally,
if you're going to restrict your child's mobile phone...
What about yours?
And what about your addiction to approval and attention and being liked? And
well, you got to deal with that first.
You have to deal with those addictions within yourself if you're going to withdraw the device that your child is using to meet those addictions that you've created. So
you were born in the days, where there was just a hardwired phone. Yep. How many times did you use it in a week?
Oh, not much, because my mum wouldn't let me because we were so poor.
So
we had to write down every single number we called.
We had a phone. I can't even remember using one until I was 18.
Yeah.
We had a phone from the time I was about 12 to about 18.
When I got to high school and I had a best friend for the first time, then we would get home from school and call each other.
Yeah, well, nobody liked me that much to call me, so might be one reason why. But you know,
and then it was very thrilling if a boy called you.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
During dinner. The shame.
But can you see the point I'm making is that it was not as accessible.
Not at all.
Well, and also you didn't need it to be either. And also you liked face-to-face better than phone. I don't know about you, but I always preferred face-to-face better than phone.
The phone was a bit scary like that.
Yeah, I hated the phone because you'd have to pick it up and you'd have to guess the person's feelings. Are they really saying what they feel? You'd have to try to feel them. And if you can't do that, then what are they really saying to you? And you know what I mean? It was hard. But when you're face-to-face, it's like, I know exactly what's going on now. Yeah. It's a lot easier to communicate. And
there was one for the whole family. So everyone who lived in the whole, you had to share it.
You didn't have enough money to go and buy a $600 phone for every member of the family.
No way.
You know?
And also, if you made arrangements, that's what I always think. If you made arrangements, you'd just stick to it.
Yeah,
that's
if you'd
right.
say, "I'll meet you."
It's
at
not like
3
I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
I made it. I'm going.
I'm going.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't just text someone and say, "I'm."
Yeah,
cancelling.
But also there was other advantages too, in the sense that you learnt that you needed to work for things, and you also learnt that you needed to interrelate with people in order to get things done, not just talk about it on a phone, but actually do something. You learnt a lot of things that now children are not learning.
Yeah.
So what we're finding when we meet people is that most children have very lacking in emotional and social development, even by the time they're teenagers. Something that years ago was unheard of, really, to be lacking in social development when you were 7.
Yep.
Right now. People who are 15 are lacking in social development because of all of this tech that's been introduced into life, and because parents fundamentally are not bringing up their children in harmony with God's principles. Yep. And so when you look at all the tech, the question, there's a lot of principles involved, like how much of that tech is using the world's resources. You know, many people are replacing their mobile phone every 2 or 3 years. Now, you remember the handheld phone we had? I can't ever remember my parents replacing it.
Oh, no.
Right? In fact, now that I think about it, I still have one phone that was my parents'. And I can still use it. That's how long that tech lasted.
Yeah.
So in other words, it didn't use very much of the Earth's resources. Right? But now, by replacing every few years, I'm using lots of the Earth's resources. I'm breaking principles there. I'm also using lots of power. That uses lots of the Earth's resources. That's breaking principles there. I'm also using it for personal addictions. That's breaking principles regarding truth, love, and humility, and a lot of other principles. Then I'm also using it to like feed my fears frequently. Like that's why people are on it all the time, on social media all the time, is to feed my fears. That's breaking principles, God's principles. So when you look at, there's other things I must mention. The mobile phone bosses you around.
Yeah.
That's breaking a principle of free will. It's telling you when you should do this, when you should update that, when you should use this app, when you should download that app, what you should download, how you should use it. It's not letting you make choices. It's actually forcing you to turn things off rather than turn them on, right? All of that's out of harmony with love. So the programmers of these phones are out of harmony with love too.
Yeah.
And by buying one, you're fundamentally, and then promoting the usage of it in an unloving manner, you're fundamentally feeding all of that system. So I understand you're having a phone just for the sake of communication. Like my phone, I have a usage report. I use it 1 minute a week. When we have these events, we have to have it now because of the tech to talk to turn on recordings. And so we have it for that. So then I use it the entire time that's here. But I'm not actually using it, am I? The tech's using it. But I'm having to have it for that. And the only other time I use it for is, unfortunately, I had to buy one. I didn't want to buy one, but I had to buy one because the bank wouldn't let me access my money anymore without one. Yeah. So fundamentally, I couldn't even access funds anymore without one. So I had to buy one for that purpose. But it's a machine. So I'm going to make it last as long as it can possibly last, because it's using resources, and I'm going to use it as least as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, a face-to-face interaction is going to be better than any interaction I can have on that.
Yeah.
Now, it's really handy when we're travelling because, as you know, Mary contacts you, says, oh, this arrangement, that arrangement. So it's a tool for making arrangements.
Yes.
That's what it is, a tool for making arrangements, and that's it.
Yep.
Right? If you use it for any other purpose, you're going to be breaking a lot of God's laws. That's fundamentally a fact.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents maybe give lip service to worrying about technology, but equally I see a lot of parents using tech as childcare. You know, just occupy the kid, give them a screen, give them something to listen to. I watch kids in airports while we're travelling, just doing the swipe on TikTok while their parents are sitting eating. You know, there's a lot of... So I do feel that if parents are serious about these love principles and all these principles, they're also going to create environments that encourage their kids to engage with life, with their free will, with creation, with their desires in a responsible way. Because a lot of parents feel they're too busy to parent these days. You know, they're perhaps working, both parents at the moment.
To pay for the mobile phones.
To pay for the phones, to pay for the car they're going to buy their kid when they're 16. You know, like all the things that actually, they didn't have, that now they're creating addictions in their kids to have. And they're not actually placing sort of responsibility on the kids to actually engage their free will in a physical, not just moving their body, but in a way that impacts the world, impacts their life, is creative. And so I think that's a very important part of the principles that apply to this technology question, because a lot of parents worry about the effects, of some of which you raised, which are very detrimental. But what are we doing to educate kids about their free will, their responsibilities, how they're going to actually have a happy life? Because...
So how do all these children even have a mobile phone?
Usually a lot of peer pressure.
Well, no, their parents buy it for them.
Yes,
That's how it happens. Their parents go out and buy one. How much is a mobile phone?
300-400.
Yeah, it depends what country, doesn't it? In Australia, the average price is probably 700 Australian dollars. Here, 300 or 400 euros or whatever. Yep. Okay, that's a fair bit of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take your child to earn that money if they went to work?
Long time.
Like, let's say they went to work and earned 10 euros an hour, you know. At $400, that's 40 hours of work. So at least they should be working 40 hours of work before they get a phone. At least that. Because otherwise you're paying for it, not them. And they're not learning any self-responsibility.
That's right. And any ongoing bills they should be paying for.
Of course. So if it's, what is it now? It depends how much data you use, I suppose, doesn't it? But say, I don't know, here, what is it, 25 euro or something a plan or for a month?
Yeah, maybe like $40 a month.
Yeah, 40 euro a month. Okay, 40 euro a month they've also got to earn. Right? And then they want you to run them to their friend's house, at which they've organised on their mobile phone.
For sure.
Yeah. How much is the fuel? How much is your time? So let's say it takes you an hour to run them there and you go back and then you got to go and pick them up and then bring them back. Let's say it takes 2 hours. What's your time worth? $100 an hour? $400 of time, you know, 2 hours, let's say if it's 2 hours, $200. Okay, so $200, that's the payment that you need to make to me for me to take you to your friend's house. Now, if you're prepared to work for all that, I'm prepared to do it for you.
Great.
Does that make sense? So if you're prepared to go and buy your own mobile phone, and you're prepared, parents would become very wealthy this way. Mind you, the children would soon realise
they'll get a bike very quickly.
That's right. They'd soon realise.
Or get other parents to go and come and pick them up.
Well, you know, this is where there'd be a principle there, wouldn't there? No, you're not doing that. I can't do that. They're not responsible for your life. Are you paying that,
mum?
Yeah.
You got to pay their mum. That'd be the principle. Whoever is doing the running around for you, that's who you pay. Till you get your own car. When you get 16, do I give you a car? Of course not. Why would I give you a car? Right? You're my child. I'm not going to give you a car. You're going to have to earn and buy a car. for yourself. So you understand the principle that nothing, like money and also things don't grow on trees, on mum and dad trees. They come from your own desire, your own passion, your own longing to create.
Who here worked and bought your own first car?
First car.
Do you remember that car? Like, how special was that car?
Yeah.
It was just
it was
wonderful.
And you sort of also get a pride in yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here's my freedom that I...
How powerful am I?
Yes.
I got my car.
Yeah.
That kind
It
of
was
thing.
a bombed out Corona, same age as me, you know.
But
It
worked.
was mine and I
Yes.
saved for it.
And I paid for the fuel and I paid for the registration. I understood all the costs. You see, the average child nowadays becomes an adult without understanding any of these things.
Yeah.
It's a very wonderful thing, a gift you can give your child for them to understand how to create, how to obtain, how to create, how to generate a result from their desires. Very powerful thing to give a child. If you gave that to your child by the time they were teenagers, it's unlikely they'd work for somebody else in their 20s. By that stage, they'd be creating their own business, doing their own thing, wanting to live their own life. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be reliant so much on other people creating their wealth, other people creating their life. You know, they would do all of those. They'd want to do all those things by naturally want to do them. And this is the problem we face with children. We break the principles, not understanding the very long-term consequences now for our children in their life. You know, unfortunately, I broke a lot of principles with my two sons. And my sons are now 38 and 40. 38 and 40. They're still struggling to create their own life because I broke the principles, because I didn't educate them this way, right? I tried when they were about 16, and of course there was a lot of anger.
Yep.
Because I'd waited too long to educate my children in harmony with the principles.
Yep.
I waited too long, and that was my biggest problem. And it's also their biggest problem now,
Yeah.
because the principles are not there in them yet. You know, in the older one, Tristan, more probably, but still, and in the younger one, in some ways, more than the older one. You know, there's just different principles they've engaged by their own learning, but I wasn't responsible for educating them properly, and so that caused these problems for them now. You imagine if we change that. Imagine if whole world, as parents, we helped our children be self-responsible by the age of 7. They'd be running into their life by the time they're 15 or 16.
Yeah.
They'd be enjoying it, knowing what to do, knowing how to create, knowing what they wanted to do with their life. By the time they're in the 20s, they wouldn't be hanging around waiting for somebody else to create jobs for them. They'd be doing it for themselves. You know, by the time they're in their 30s, they'd probably have families, you know, helping their children grow in the same manner. And you imagine how seamless all that would be for them. They wouldn't be stressed out at the thought of having a baby. It's like, I'm responsible. I can look after them. I know how. You know, the way I was brought up taught me how to look after my children. And so, you know, all of these things would be easily, the problems we face would be easily corrected. So tech is really just, the reason why parents are worried about it is fundamentally because we're not applying the principles to it.
Yep.
We for some reason think that with the tech, the principles no longer apply. Do you know what I mean? Like, and because of that, we don't enforce the principles with the tech, and because of that, we got all these problems that come about because of the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say to parents who have already given their kids mobile phones?
Take them off.
Take them off.
Well, until they work to buy them back.
Get rid of your own too, maybe.
Yeah.
Unless you use it as a tool for work or something.
For work, yeah.
Why are you using it? Why are you needing it? And of course, navigation is handy, but honestly, like 50 years ago...
We had a map.
No, I didn't. I just pointed myself in the right direction and I got there in the end through, you know, whatever
Asking
methods.
some people.
All sorts.
Stopping and
Having to interact with the world,
Yeah.
right, is the way I got there. So, you know, when I say that, people go, you can't do that. It's like, what about the computer? What about the phone? What about silly? The reality is our children need to be able to get out into the world and do things. Anything that stops them from doing things is bad for them. So anything that stops them from developing is bad for them. Anything that stops them from being responsible is bad for them. So gifting them tech, rather than asking that they pay for the tech, which is exactly what you've had to do to get your tech, is at least the minimal requirement. Now, I don't see any problem if the child bought their own phone through their own effort and their own desire and their own money and their own work. Now that's less problematic. That's more in harmony with the principles. Now it's all about educating them about the proper usage of it. But by the way, if they'd done all of that to get their phone, I would say by that stage they probably are more likely to use it properly.
Maybe, because I'm just thinking of Rose did that. She bought it herself. She saved for it. She did it herself because I never wanted her to have a phone. So I said, if you want one, you save for it. But she's done all that.
But how did she save?
Through working and also some Christmas money and birthday money.
Gifts.
And so it's gifts.
So she didn't do it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
fair enough.
True.
But go on.
Yeah. So so she bought it herself, and even but I can still see that there's this like really addictive pull to it.
Of course, and that's about educating your children about why there's an addictive pull to it.
Humility, principles of humility, and why they're seeking addiction.
Yeah.
Why do they need an interaction with a device through a device rather than face to face? But also, what does that interaction give them? What are they seeking from it? You need to teach your children why they want social media so much. Like, what's the point of it? What's the real point of it versus what? You know, there's a strong manipulation on this planet about social media.
Huge.
There are huge companies making billions and billions of dollars off of you. What they're going to want to give you, how do they make billions of dollars off of you and you be willing to do it? They can only do that by feeding your addictions. So you've got to teach your children about their addictions. And the average parent doesn't want to teach their child about their addictions because most of the children's addictions came from
ours.
Yeah. So the average parent, to teach their child about their addiction, would have to learn about their own. And the average parent goes, I don't want to learn about mine. I want my addictions.
I'm just worried about my kids' addictions.
Yeah, I'm just worried about this particular addiction. Right, of my children, without being concerned about all addictions. Right.
And this is why it's a funny conversation around technology, because a lot of us grew up when mobile phones didn't exist. And now we've got children where you see this gravitational pull to the phone, and you think, oh, I didn't have that, so this must be a problem. But we don't see all the other addictions that we're still engaging in and they're engaging in that we think is fine.
And also most parents are addicted to, like I'm addicted to my phone, and most parents
are. A lot of people are, but a lot of them sleep with their phone more than they sleep with their husbands, right? Or wives. And so, it's a big problem, right? But the fundamental problem really too is when you unravel all of that is the only reason why your child wants a mobile phone is because every other child has one.
Exactly.
And the only reason why every other child has one is because every other parent bought them one.
No, it's total peer pressure, because then I've had a few children who didn't have phones.
No, that's not the point.
Okay.
That's not the peer pressure. It's the parents.
It's the parent pressure.
It's the parents. If every parent had said to every child, you've got to earn it, you've got to go out and work for it, I'm not giving you any gifts that are going to support you buying it, and I'm not going to pay for the bill every month either. You're going to have to pay for all of that yourself. If every person on earth, every parent on earth did that, in other words, if every parent on earth was adhered to the principle of responsibility, personal responsibility, which is one principle, how many mobile phones would be in the possession of children?
Not as many as there are now.
Nowhere. and if all my friends haven't got one, why do I want one? Why do I even need one? I won't need one because if I had one, I'd be the only person on social media. And I wouldn't be getting any likes and prop-ups on social media because none of my friends are on it. Right. The reality is, as parents, we've created the problem by our willingness And also by our guilt about, it's really about our anger about our own childhoods. Because in our own childhoods we feel like, I had to get this and I had to buy that and I had to work hard and I had to spend all this time working hard, and isn't it terrible that I had to... No, it wasn't terrible. It was good. But no, you think this is terrible. I don't want my children to have to go through that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a better parent than my parents were. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it all on tap for them.
Yeah.
Whenever they want anything, I'll get it for them as much as I'm able. This is me being a better mum and dad than my own mum and dad were.
Yes.
This is me proving how good I am, right? My addiction to be a parent, proving how good I am as a parent compared to my own parents or whatever. And so then my own addiction causes me to go, whatever they want, I'm going to give them. Not understanding that you're creating monsters. You're creating monsters in the children, but you're also creating monsters in all... You're creating organisations all around the world who prey on children by preying on the social addictions of children. The reason why Facebook and other things are so big, and the new ones, what are they, TikTok or whatever,
and Instagram,
they're so big, is because they give children instant gratification of their emotional injuries. And so you're actually encouraging these big companies preying on your own children, and you're paying for it. Like, how bad is that? You're prepared to pay for your children to be abused by big companies just in order to feel that you're a good parent, in order to meet your own addiction. That's pretty severe. Can you see, as a parent, coming face to face with that would be a primary thing you need to come face to face with? Because you're actually willing for big companies to exploit your own children, and you're willing to help the big company exploit your own children. Like, that blows me away. That things have become so distorted in terms of reality that parents are willing to see their own children exploited by multinational, multi-billion-dollar companies, and the parents themselves are willing to pay for it. That shows you how much you're willing to meet your own addiction. That's extreme, if you think about it. That's like paying someone to abuse your child and be willing to pay for that, because that's what's happening. Your children are being abused through these things.
And it's like abuse. It's purposeful. These corporations know what they're doing. They produce nothing.
They have designed their apps specifically for these addictions.
To feed on addictions, to create addictions, to inflame addictions, to shame people who aren't meeting addictions. Like, really, really dark stuff. And that's their sole purpose. They create nothing else. That is all they do, and they chew up so much of the Earth's resources in terms of
energy
power.
Alone.
Like electrical energy. Is
there's
incredible.
There's whole server farms that are as big as cities in terms of the amount of power they draw, just to meet this one demand to feed the addictions of the populace. And then we wonder why we're needing to have these big wind farms everywhere and these big this everywhere. Because we're monsters when it comes to using power, because every fast addiction being met comes from a technical device. It's instant gratification. Historically, that wasn't the case. Historically, instant gratification wasn't even possible. Now it's become possible. Right, where you can instantly gratify an addiction the moment you have it, the moment you need it, gratify it with a bit of tech, and then it's... But that's all got its subsequent... There's all whole heap of principles about power, authority, all these other things now, where these companies that are managing all of this to make money off of people, and in particular make money off of children, because that's where they get... They know you parents, they know you are addicted to thinking you're a good parent. And they know that all they've got to do is get your child to ask for something, and you'll probably want to buy it for them, right? They know this, and they are manipulating it on purpose to make money out of your children and you.
Yeah, because they have trends going on. And
not only that, to get your
that.
children engaged when they're 5 means that by the time they're 25, they can't live without it. They are so embroiled in the addiction, they cannot live without it. So people worry about all these conspiracies, right? That's a major conspiracy based upon money, and the parents are willing accomplices based on an addiction about being a good mum and dad. Now that is a huge principle of love, truth, honesty, self-responsibility. There's all these principles involved in that. And because we sacrifice them morally, we have these moral sacrifices, we do it. And we don't even understand, even as parents, most parents don't understand, they are assisting the manipulation and exploitation of their own children. Yeah. For the rest of their life. It's going to affect the child the rest of its life. And that's what they're assisting. That's a major problem, just to make you feel like you've been a good mum or dad.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so huge, isn't it? And you think about it.
Yeah, no, it feels horrible.
Yeah, yeah. No. But see, the average person doesn't want to hear any of this. It's like, it can't be that bad, can it? But if you look at what's happening, it's full on. And this doesn't even cover things like the sexual manipulation of your children using these social apps. Or like the abusive sexual interactions with children that are occurring over these apps, and all of that. I haven't even touched any of that, right? And the unwillingness of the companies to deal with any of that because they need the children on the app to make the money out of them that parents are paying for.
Yeah.
If you take the children off these apps, you would take away 1/4 to 1/8. 3/4 to 7/8 of all of their income. Instead of being a billions, instead of being a $1 billion company, they'd be a $125 million company instead.
Yeah.
Right. They know the way to do it is leverage the child at their youngest age possible, and then you'll have them for life.
It's quite hard to hear.
Yeah. And the average parent just ignores these facts. They are facts. Yeah. And if you're connected with God, you will feel these facts. You will feel the intent of the companies. You'll feel the intent of the parents. You'll feel that the children are really unwitting pawns in a much larger game. And unfortunately, no parent is even showing them that they are unwitting pawns.
Yeah. I feel like when technology came along, I never would give my kids phones. I feel like the God conscience was there telling me no. But I gave in.
Yeah. The average parent does because even their own children are implying, I bet you're a bad mum. Everybody else has got
Everyone else has got it. I'm going to be left out. I'm going to get bullied.
Plus, it's a safety thing. Plus, they play on
the health and safety for sure.
It's like, I'm going to be safer this way. I'll be able to call you when I'm in trouble and all this kind of stuff.
But then I think, well, I didn't have one and I was okay. Kind of.
I survived my entire childhood without one.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah. But also, like you said, you're in touch with the conscience about don't give them phones. Yeah. But there's a lot more to it than that, isn't there? If you think about
not in touch with the addictions.
Yes.
Yes.
The addictions involved, your addictions to not being shown up as a bad mum.
Yeah.
But also the education required to educate your kids about what is an addiction, what is out, just what you were just talking about. There's all these multinational companies who are going to try to exploit you in terms of your emotions, feeling like if you're not pretty, you're not worth anything. If you're not popular, you're not worth anything. If you don't have enough money in the bank, if you like, all of these things are part of the education we need to give to children to understand, hey, I'm much more than this physical body, but also my will is very important, and the way that I engage it is going to affect my future. So at some point, your child is going to have the option to purchase a phone. Are you educating them about what are you going to do with that phone when you get it? Is it going to be a tool, or are you going to be its tool?
Yeah.
Are you going to use it for productive things, or is it going to see you as another cog in a machine that they can sap for funds, for energy, for all of these things? So,
and also to understand the tech involved in such a way that you understand the energy requirements of using that tech. Yeah. It's like, it's like all this AI. Most people on Earth are like quite enamored by it, but it's using huge amounts of resources of the Earth. One AI, huge amounts of resources. Your mobile phones, there needs to be a power station at the other end, powering an antenna at the other end. And then there needs to be your phone charged up on this end. And then there needs to be a whole heap of computers and everything that route all of those calls. And then there needs to be, and all of that is energy. All of that is huge amounts of energy just to meet your addiction. Now, you need to teach your children, is it loving for you to consider utilising the environment and destroying the environment just so that you can feel good about yourself? Is that, that's something we need to teach our children. That's not a loving purpose, right? The loving purpose would be maybe to communicate, or maybe to warn somebody, or maybe for some other purpose like that, but not just for the sake of meeting my addiction. To have all that power and all that energy being chewed up just to meet my addiction, how destructive am I towards the environment thinking this way?
Yeah.
Right? If we educate our children this way at a young age when they were going to school, how many of them would have a rebellion against getting a mobile phone by the time they're a teenager?
Yeah.
They'd say, what are you guys doing? You're destroying our environment with these things. Wow. You're mucking up our life with these things. You're causing us to be prey to these big companies with these things. What are you doing, Mum? Buying me a mobile phone, you silly woman.
Pray for the day.
Do you know what I mean? No, most parents don't. They pray for the day when they just feel like they're a good parent.
Yeah.
And the parent and the children think they're a good parent. Yeah. That's really what they want. They're bossed by that.
Yeah.
They're dictated by that feeling. So, it would be far better if the children were educated from a young age, but the reality is most adults are not educated about all the things that go into the tech that we're using. They're not. They have no idea of all of the resources of Earth that are getting thrown constantly and to higher and higher degrees. Like the tech is growing at rapid rates, far more rapid than the economies, far more rapid than food production. Any other thing in the world is not growing as much as the tech. And that tech has huge consequences on the resources of the Earth, right? Now, if you're using tech for a purpose of education, well, that's now a better purpose, isn't it? Now I'm educating people. If you're using tech for the purpose of communication, but only essentials, that's understandable. If you're using tech to warn people, that's a good thing. If there's problems,
there's a fire,
a bushfire, then having the potential to warn them, great thing. Yeah. But if you're using tech just to gratify your own personal addictions, that is so selfish. And on top of that, it's destructive, because if everybody's doing it, billions of people are doing it, the environment is going to get destroyed so quickly because of it that in 20 years' time, we're hardly going to have any of those resources left to eat and drink, let alone use a phone. Yeah. This is where it's headed. And there's plenty of warnings. You can see it happening everywhere. There's just more and more and more demand on the environment because of the technology we're imbibing and using, more and more demand. And there's plenty of factual information out there about these things, about how much energy these things really use. Not, a lot of people say, but it's only just my phone.
Yeah.
But in order for everyone to have it, there has to be connection points, there has to be switching occurring, there has to be all of that has to be powered 24/7, every day of the week, forever, in order for it to happen. And all of that is coming out of this Earth that is our home future, our future home.
So the information's out there, but we don't really want to know.
How many parents want to know?
Yeah, we don't want to know because we're in our addiction.
You're in your addiction to be a good mum. You don't want to know. You don't want to know, You don't want to know that all this is happening and you're supporting it. You don't want to know you're supporting the exploitation of your own children. You don't want to think that that's how bad a parent you're actually being. You don't want to know any of these things. So what do? You just ignore the facts.
Yep.
That's how the average person does unloving things on earth, by ignoring truth, by ignoring the facts. That's how you get away with it, by ignoring the truth, ignoring the facts. If you loved the truth principle, you would never do that. You'd go, what's involved in my mobile phone? I want to find out every bit of energy it uses, really, all the things behind the tech, what's got to go on and happen with the tech. And remember, your mobile phone is not just one tech. It's not just the communication. It's every social media app. That has its own tech. Every social media presentation has its own servers, its own. What energy is actually being used, and how much am I personally sharing in the growth of this terrible exploitation on earth? But the average person was presented with the facts. You wouldn't want to use a mobile phone. Or if you did, it would only be for
1 minute.
Very
Total
essential
essentials.
services.
Yeah, whereas now it's just app after app after app.
That's right.
There's more apps.
Yeah.
every
The
day.
same applies with like eating meat, and the same applies with a lot of other things, of course. There are principles involved, and the amount of earth resources that are being used are so great, and the amount of destruction of the earth is so great that our children in 20 or 30 years' time are going to be lucky to have children and be able to even pay for having a child.
Yeah.
That's how severe it is. It's going to be so expensive to eat and to drink that the average person is going to really struggle. And you look at it worldwide as well. The average person now cannot buy a home.
Yeah.
That's because of all the earth's resources we're using. All of the earth's resources are going up in price.
Yes. Yeah.
The higher they go in price, right, because of course they become more scarce the more we use them, the higher they go in price, the less people can have them. So it's only rich people that can have them.
Yeah.
So the poor people suffer first, and then the richer people next, and then the most rich people last, right? But unfortunately, we're all participating in this direction through our choices. And the parents are doing it mostly because they're the ones with the funds to support this. Yeah. The children are, like I said, unwitting pawns in a larger game of manipulation of their future.
Yeah, yeah. When I tell people about the meat, because I saw it myself, even driving through from Villarreal down to here, and you go through Alentejo and it's destroyed.
Yeah.
It's just cattle. The soil is decimated.
Yeah.
But when I tell people about that, there's this kind of like fad going around at the moment of the carnivore diet.
Of course.
Where, you know,
my
people,
addictions are more important.
Yeah, and also people are saying, no, it's really healthy and we need protein, especially as we're getting older. And also there have been some people that I know that have lost lots of weight from the carnivore diet, and they look well, maybe just for a year or so. And
well, they usually end up with body problems that develop over a few years, and then they end up in hospitals with cancers and other problems that develop after that. But initially, yes, it all looks good, just like most addictions.
Yeah.
All looks good.
Just like picking up a mobile phone looks good.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah. But we're not really thinking about the consequences, not of us, our own bodies, but also the environment.
That's right. Yeah. And that's a big consequence. You're basically saying, I'm going to take what I want out of the environment right now, and my children are going to suffer for it.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. Your children will suffer for it. So we're fundamentally saying, I don't want to love my children.
Yeah.
Even though we all think we do.
Even though we think we do. We think we're being a good mum or dad, getting all these things for them. But actually, we're not loving them really, because we don't understand the full ramifications of what's going to happen in their future.
Yeah. And that's because we're so opposed to the truth principle, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's not like this information isn't available.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
But
everybody knows rainforests are getting destroyed. This is happening. That's happening all around the world.
Every 5 minutes, it's all getting.
The seas are getting polluted. Everybody knows.
It's being reported even in mainstream news.
Not very often, because people are more interested in their addictions. But
well, not
reported.
Many people are reading it.
That's right.
Yes.
Not many people are accessing it, but it's there. I'm interested and I read it every week.
It's
every
available.
day I can see an article about that stuff. But most people are so opposed to the truth because it will challenge their addictions, and
they don't want to give them up.
Yeah. even the people who initially seek the truth often end up in an angry state of hopelessness and rage and nihilism, and it's all just the end. Rather than seeing, no, there's actionable things I can do, but it's going to challenge all my addictions. Yep. And that might mean feeling some pain. So actually it's either denial or complete hopelessness, which is really rage.
So all these climate activists are out there with their mobile phones, eating meat, saying how terrible it is.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Well, what we've got to do is use these things for essential things only. If the tech's available, I don't have any problem with tech being available. What I have a problem with is making it so involved in your addictions that now your addictions determine its usage.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. Your addictions determine its usage. It's going to destroy the planet. Yes. Just like your addictions destroy relationships, it's going to destroy the planet as well. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. And very few people are aware of even the facts involving the way it's destroying the planet. Yeah. Very few people want to know. Yeah. We just want them met, you know.
Well, yeah, because when we really know about it and we really feel about it, it just feels really yucky, and it's
coming
to
you sort
terms
of feel
with
like,
it.
whoa, I can't do that, you know. Like what I wanted was one phone in our house.
That's what we had for a long time.
That's what we had for like maybe the whole time up until about 3 years ago. One phone in the house. Because the least amount of use of resources, the least amount was the goal. But because there is like now we have to have different accounts because the bank says you got to, even if you're married or whatever, you can't join everything and blah, blah, blah. And it's just a pain in the neck. And now, and also, you know, because of we're traveling with tech, for educational purposes, there was some point to it. But even then, it's like, I don't want to use it. Because I know behind it, like most of the time mine's turned off. Not. That's why many of you, when you try to contact me, you can't.
Well, nobody tries, darling.
Nobody tries. Like at home, nobody tries.
That's why everyone talks to me, literally.
Or they come around and visit me, you know, if they want to talk.
Yeah. Better.
No, hardly anybody tries because they know it's probably turned off.
Yeah.
You know, the only time he turns it on is when he needs to use it. The rest of the time it's off. And so, you know, and that's the same with everything we have, really. It should be that way, shouldn't it? The only time you really need it is when you need to use it, and then you turn it off, you know. That's, you know, we notice here in Portugal and in Europe continually, the lights are burning 24/7. Like at night, it's going all night. And we're there trying to get to sleep, and there's this light shining in our bedroom windows. Go, why aren't they turning off these lights? Right, it's right in our, you got to put blackout blinds, and now they're actually doing it, aren't they? Like we've hired now 2 homes, have complete blackout blinds just to stop the light that could be stopped by just somebody flicking a switch. You know what I mean? But why? Because everyone's afraid of their safety. Yeah. They've got to have it burning 24/7. How much energy is that taking? And also energy at a time when it's hard to produce energy, the night. You know, when the sun's hitting the earth, you can produce energy much more easily. When the sun's not on that side of the earth, you know, then you have to produce it in the dark. That's going to use a lot of the earth's resources. Turn off the damn lights all over the world. Imagine if we all turned off the lights every night. In fact, there were some experiments that were done with that. Right? Recently in some country, I forget what it was, where they all decided they were going to, the government decided they were going to turn off the light overnight. They saved a huge amount. They saved 1/4 of the energy. No, it wasn't 1/4. It was 1/2 of the energy of the entire country was saved by just turning the lights off overnight.
Wow.
So you don't need to put up extra poles. You don't need to put up extra. You just need to turn off the lights occasionally. You know what I mean? Turn off the power occasionally. But we don't want to do it because it meets our addiction. Our addiction, fear addiction. You know, our addiction for safety. You know, because we don't think we're safe, but we actually are. You know, we've got addiction for social media. We don't want to go to bed when it's dark.
I was going to say that. Is it then loving that when the sun goes down and it gets dark for us to really go to bed?
You've been designed to go down with it.
Save energy.
Yeah.
You've been designed to go to sleep with it. That's how God designed you. And to wake up with the sun in the morning. But most people don't do that. They stay up longer, and people stay up, we're noticing in Western countries a lot, to midnight or 1 in the morning. And then they're using all that extra power all that time. And then in the mornings, they're not getting up until later. Or if they're getting up earlier, you can see why people are unhealthy, because they, not getting enough sleep.
Well, that's why they need coffee.
Yeah.
Which is
start the day. There's another addiction, another destruction of the environment. Coffee, first up, give me a kick. Now I can get going, type of thing. And even that's an addiction. If you could look at how much of rainforests have been destroyed just on coffee plantations, it would shock you. The average person would be absolutely shocked about how much is getting destroyed just for that one purpose, right? And yet that addiction is there because most people are not getting enough sleep. And they're not turning off the lights when they, don't need to turn on lights if you don't need them overnight, do you?
Yep.
You could just have them no lights, couldn't you?
Yep.
Eat before sundown, and you don't need to eat after that, and go to bed because you're going to bed, and wake up sun up.
Yep.
And then you'd be using a lot less energy. And if every person on earth in Western society decided to do that, we would halve our energy requirements overnight.
Yeah. What about people who, work for a company and they're not getting home till like 6 or 7 at night, and so everything is then later?
That's completely unloving. They should be getting home well before dark. So why are we creating jobs like this? Well, because of the addictions involved in what those jobs usually produce. That's why we do that, right? Or, there are some countries where, yes, it is dark early. Yep. And under those circumstances, you might want some lights. But, and then, so I'm not against them. I'm just saying there's a lot of decisions we could make in harmony with getting rid of our addictions, which would also get rid of huge amounts of the Earth's resources being utilised for no purpose other than to meet our addictions.
Yeah. And if we all actually did this, then it would actually make a bit of difference. If there was...
If one person does it and educates another, then it's possible that another might do it, and then they educate another, and then another might do it. So Mary and I, we've been going to bed at sundown for I don't know how long, like maybe the whole time I've known you, close to. Yeah. Everyone around us where we live now generally goes to bed at the same time.
Sometimes we have dinner together and we start really late, like 11.
8 o'clock or something.
Oh, no. Sometimes we're really late, like 11 p.m. And then the next day we're all like...
The next day we're all knackered, like absolutely
It's like we've got a hangover and we haven't drunk for 15 years. But we feel so out of whack because we stayed up that...
and we're still getting up at 4 in the morning when the sun comes up. So, it's pretty hard on you. Yeah. So you learn, don't go to bed at 11, go to bed at 8 or 7 when the sun goes down. And that's what we do. And you use less energy. You're using less of the Earth's resources. It's more in harmony with love, the principle of love, more in harmony with it. So this is, the average person is, like, you wanted to raise the issue of the principles of love in the family, but actually it touches every single area of our life. The food we eat, what we drink, what we put on, what we wear, what choices we make with our clothing, with our shodding, our shoes, what choices we make with vehicles. It's everything. And don't even get me started on the whole electric vehicle thing, because that's what an illusion. an illusion of now we're in tune with the environment. No, you're not. There's a whole heap of problems with those things that haven't been resolved. And so why are we going to another tech that just hasn't just creates more problems?
Yep.
Like toxic
batteries.
Problems. And also all of them are driven by server farms that are downloading software to them all the time that have to be on 24/7. So, again, we're not assessing all of this. We're just going along with it and going, I'm now conscious, and you're not. Yeah, not conscious of the reality, God's reality of how God sees it.
It's sort of like tech. Humans are becoming so entranced by how clever we feel we are. As a race, that we're so clever and we're really progressing. We're really advancing with all this tech and all the vehicles and all the software and the AI and all of these things. When really we're driving ourselves to hell.
Into oblivion.
Yeah, at increasing velocities. And we're trying, actually, a lot of it comes back to trying to avoid God's authority.
Yeah.
Because God is asserting authority over when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down, and how the laws of even the most basic laws of the environment work. And we're saying, oh no, we've overcome all that. We're cleverer than that. And it's gonna lead to, it's a collision course with reality. It's just how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when our children are the most affected by the choices we make, surely that should be motive enough to stop what we're doing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it's not, because we don't love children as much as we think we do. Because a lot of times parents are really in love with their addictions first before they love their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the problem. So again, breaking the principles. Humility is loving, would be loving to get rid of your addiction. Not to love your addiction. Yeah. So we sort of see the principles apply to every facet of life in a very practical manner.
Yeah.
Rather than, being a discussion about, philosophy, it becomes a discussion about real life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if a person lives in harmony with that, with God's version of real life, then you can bring a lot of your life into harmony while still potentially using things that you need to use that humans create, but we'll do it in a much more judicious and careful manner so that it doesn't destroy the lives of our children and their grandchildren and our grandchildren. Yeah.
So applying the principles is not, as you said, putting a list of rules on the fridge. No more mobile phones. No, when we're seeking God's principles, we understand, there's many ways I can use the resources at my disposal. And if I do them in harmony with God's principles, that's going to benefit everyone. If I do it out of harmony with God's principles, that's going to cause pain and suffering for everyone.
Yeah. In fact, if you use the Earth's resources in harmony with the principle, as Mary was saying, Earth itself would improve.
Regenerate.
It would regenerate if we did things in harmony with the loving principles. We have the potential as humans to make more intelligent decisions and help the Earth recover. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than get further destroyed. We have the potential to change it, if we live in harmony with these principles, to actually change the environment to the point where there's no more wars, there's no more suffering, there's no more pain, there's plenty of food for everyone, plenty of water for everyone, plenty of places to live for everyone. We're using less and less and less of the Earth's resources to produce those things because we're doing it in harmony with the way it's been designed to be done, right? And you can see, if we did that, not only would we be living on an Earth that's quite damaged now, but in the future we'd look forward and go, it's going to be less damaged in the future, not more.
Yeah. But if we carry on the way we are,
it's going to be much, much worse. Yeah. And the writing's on the wall has been on the wall for a long time now.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can feel it as well. That the Earth is diminishing. There's not a lot of hope or optimism when I talk to people about it.
There are many people who are still in denial of the full results, but less and less happening, particularly with younger people. There's more and more awareness. But even with all that,
we're still in our addictions.
Correct.
Yeah. And even if people are willing to measure the environmental costs, they're very resistive to measuring the moral degradation that's occurring. And that's really the key to turning the whole thing around, is wanting to change that morality to become God's morality.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to finish, is it?
Yeah,
for the moment. I know you didn't get to ask all your questions.
That's okay.
And maybe we will have an interview where you will ask those questions. But maybe also this discussion might form the foundation for the answers to those questions. Because without sort of a discussion like this where we talk about the practical principles as a whole and how it all works and the net consequences of not living in them, then of course we don't have much faith about applying the principles in day-to-day situations.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks, Yvette.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for having us, you and Andy, having us here this couple of days.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been
Thank
really
you for
nice.
coming back.
Yeah, it's been really nice to come back.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys have enjoyed yourself today too. I know your participation not so involved today, but there's a lot of things. Sometimes in having a discussion like this, there's a lot of things you can say quite quickly without having the addictions of the audience to worry about to sort out in the process. And it gets you have the ability then to share a lot more truth in a shorter period of time sometimes. So that's why we like having these interviews. Make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries, guys. Well, we're going to be we're going to probably pack up tomorrow, I think. It's pretty late now, isn't it? Probably be 4:30 or something.
My tech failed me.
What is it? 10 to 5, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're going to pack up tomorrow morning, or tomorrow after we had a decent sleep, let's say.
Yeah.
But thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've learnt something in the process.
Yeah. It was
Been
great.
educated somehow. Yeah.
Great to see you guys.
Mm.
And we're off to Canada next week. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries, guys. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so we're looking forward to the next part of our trip now and
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Gosh.
see what discussions we have with the Canadians.
Yes. Yeah.
More about prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Prayer?
hopefully more about prayer, God's laws, prayer, God's love, but also maybe a bit of a mix like we've done this time as well.
Yep.
Down here, where there'll be some mediumship as well we'll be doing and other things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if it'll be this trip, but I'm very hopeful to do talk together about the principles of ethical mediumship and stuff. And there's some interest in that. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. Yeah.
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 Did
So-
you enjoy yourself during this event? Did you enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
It's nice.
What we like here, and this is something we're trying to achieve next year, is when you've got a bit smaller groups, you get to have a bit more of an intimate experience.
Yeah.
and you also get to have a more individualized experience, yeah?
Yeah.
And that can be very, very helpful for people who are aspiring to have a relationship with God because they start to understand things at a deeper level than they otherwise would in a bigger group. So what we're thinking of doing next year is more along the lines of having smaller groups here in Portugal or somewhere in Europe actually. But at this stage, we've now modified it from England, where we're thinking, when in England we said maybe 3 locations. When we come here at the start, we thought maybe 2 locations. Now we're thinking maybe 1 location.
Yeah.
And actually what we're thinking of is having 1 stay in Europe, 1 stay in North America every year.
So that means people who really want to come each year in each continent can have at least 1 event in their continent.
We're also thinking about making the events smaller but longer. So what that means is we're thinking about having a 2-day weekends bookended with each other, and then a 2-day in the middle with some practical stuff happening, and that's like 1 event. And then we do that again, so we do that twice.
With maybe 50 or 60
in the same
people
location.
in each one. Yeah.
So that way we still get to see a similar amount of people that we've seen in this particular that we'll see in this particular trip, but it's more of an intimate experience.
And it's like having these last 2 days, say, and then you'd have a couple of days off, and then you'd have 2 days outdoors doing a humility and practice, then you have a day off, and then another couple of days, and then that's your event for 2026, you know? Yeah, like an assistance group mixed with the humility and practice event.
Yeah,
and
maybe you need the mic though because we're talking now without the mic.
We should
Somebody
finish
got
anyway.
the mic?
Yeah.
But that's what we're thinking of, Pierre.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to try to do next year, just because we feel it would be more effective than what we've been doing Yeah.
It's been good to come, you know, just for weekends these first couple of years, because it gave a lot of people who hadn't ever been before just a chance to come and, as Andy said in the break, suss us out a little bit and, you know, decide, is this for me, isn't this for me?
Yeah.
And now that we've done that for a couple of years, it's nice to give people an opportunity to have a bit more extended experience and see what you think of that. So that's our dream.
So that's our goal.
Yeah.
A lot depends on resources as well as organisation, really, and finding the right locations.
Yeah.
So that's will be our goal over the coming year, to do all of that. So we're sort of expecting that we'll probably be back, probably here in Portugal, if not here, somewhere else in Europe. Probably going to be July, August period sort of thing. We're not certain yet, because some venues that we've been approaching at this stage are saying to us that the best time for us to come to their venue is in July, sort of early summer, because that's when most people are not there yet, you know, because most people come August, September. So it's looking like it's probably going to be, if it's in Europe, it's probably going to be sort of early summer, but we've got to also check it out in the US as to what is the best time there. In order to make it all work, because we're just going to go from here to the US and then home, here to the Canada and home, or here to Sweden and home. Or, you know what I mean? That we just want to make sure, though, that we visit both continents once a year. Make sense?
Plan.
Yeah, that's what our plans are.
So maybe we'll see you then,
Yeah.
if not before.